I'm going to share with you how to write a script. I'm going to explain some critical aspects of writing your script that can massively impact your video performance. And I'm going to share with you a mistake in script writing that can cost you tons of views over time. And real quick, if this is your first time here, my name is Nick and I'd like to welcome you to the TubeSpanner channel where we help you get more views, subscribers, and revenue from the content you're already making. So make sure to subscribe. Okay, let's start scripting. When it comes to writing a script for your videos, the very first part of your script is what we call the hook. It's called a hook because we use it to hook a viewer's attention to get them to commit to a video. So since you're trying to hook that viewer when they first click on your video and they first start to watch it, you want to make sure that you build the beginning of the video around the interests that your viewers have, or around what you think your viewers would expect when they first click on that video. For example, when you started this video, I told you that I was going to tell you how to write a script because that's what this whole video is about. I also mentioned that I was going to explain certain parts of the script that are critical for video performance. And the reason that I mentioned that is because as a content creator, you want your videos to perform well. And then I mentioned that I was going to share a mistake in script writing that can cost you a ton of views. And the reason that I mentioned that is because if you're putting all this work into your content, of course, you want as many people to see it as possible. So in a nutshell, I told you what the video is about, and then I used other items to hook you into the video. And don't worry, you haven't been clickbaited. I'm going to tell you those things that I promised. But anyway, when it comes to the hooks that you're writing, you can make them as long or as short as you would like to, but keep in mind that when somebody clicks on your video that they're expecting to get content. So because of that, you want to try to make your hook as short as you can and then try to hurry up and get into the actual content that they came in for. When writing your hook, if possible, and I know it's not possible for all types of content, but if possible, try to add some stakes to it. And if you can't add stakes to it, then try everything you can to make your entire hook about the viewer and what they are getting ready to experience. One thing that I do want to mention about the hook before we move on to the next part of the script is, like I mentioned before, it is extremely important because if you can't get people past your hook, then people aren't going to continue watching the rest of your video. And because of that, your videos are going to perform poorly regardless of the platform that you put them on. So it's really important to make sure that you put the time and thought needed into your hooks so you can make sure that they make the impact that you intend them to make. Once you have your hook crafted, we're going to move into the content or the body section of your script. Now, for everybody that's watching this, you're going to be making all types of different content. So because of that, for this particular part of the scripting section, before we move on to the next, I'm just going to give you some tips of things that you should be keeping in mind that'll just make it all easier for you when it comes to writing your script altogether, but especially for the body section or the content section of your script. The very first tip is instead of writing big long paragraphs that you're going to have to remember or read through, write sentences. When writing sentences, you want to make sure that you keep the sentences short enough that you can easily remember them. The reason for this is because when you are recording your content, if you're trying to remember an entire paragraph, you're going to have to do a gazillion takes in order to remember the information. However, when you use short sentences, then it's really easy to record and it makes it really easy to put your content together and present the content as well. One thing I've also found to be extremely helpful when it comes to script writing is for the things that you need to remember every single thing word for word, go ahead and write those down word for word. However, if there are certain elements of your script where you can just use bullet points for that part, then in a lot of cases, it's going to help you communicate in a more natural way by just using the bullet point instead of writing it out word for word. Doing that can take a little bit of time to get used to, but when you do that for those sections of the script, it can just help you communicate in a more natural way. The next tip for the body section of your script is if you are going to be showing B-roll of any kind or any type of additional footage or screen recordings or anything like that on your screen, color code or bold those parts of your script so that they'll stand out to you when you're putting the content together, and then you can just read those parts because you know that there's going to be something on screen. That will help you record faster, that will help you make those sections of your script a lot more smooth, and since you're just reading those parts, you don't have to remember them all, so you can save your memory for the other parts of the video. Next, if your content type supports it, or if you want to put in the extra work to make your content support it, then use storytelling in your scripting as well. The reason for that is because storytelling is proven to keep people engaged. So if your content type supports it, then you definitely want to give it a shot. Now, before we get to the part that costs content creators tons of views, I want to talk about calls to action with you. A call to action, if you're not familiar with what that term is when you're asking someone to do something within your content. On YouTube, our calls to action are typically asking people to subscribe to our videos or like our videos or comment our videos or check out the links in the description, or based on your goals for the channel, you might have other things that you say, but those are typically the core things that we use. But the reason I want to talk about the calls to action when it comes to your script is because at the beginning of this video, I asked you to subscribe. I told you who I was. I welcomed you to the TubeSpanner channel. I told you what we do here on the TubeSpanner channel, and then I invited you to subscribe. If you're new to making content, I recommend that you don't do that. And the reason that I recommend that you don't do that is because right now it's more important that you learn how to get people watching your videos and enjoying your content content before you start experimenting with those types of things. Because if you don't say the right things in the right order, it can cause people to leave your videos. So make sure that you don't do that at the beginning of your videos, but here's a better way to do it. Now, of course, what I'm getting ready to say, you can apply this to your type of content, but for the sake of this example, let's just imagine that it's a woodworking channel. In that particular case, there's going to be moments while they're showing the woodworking where they're going to be sanding something or putting something into a machine of some kind. It's those moments where you can insert a quick call to action to try to get your viewers to take certain actions like comments, likes, and subscribes while you're having those lulls in your video. For example, if the woodworker's sanding something, then while they're sanding something and the viewer's watching that, they can quickly say, and by the way, I put out content like this every Tuesday, so if you're enjoying the video so far, remember to subscribe. That approach is not intrusive on the video experience and it doesn't interrupt the video in any way. But what it does do is it gives that viewer the nudge that they might need, especially if you make really good content because they're focusing on how good your content is and they're just enjoying the content. It gives them that little nudge they need to remind them, oh yeah, I can subscribe to this channel because I am enjoying this. Of course, using calls to actions within your scripts is optional, but if you do decide to use them, also make sure that you're focusing the viewer on one thing at a time. Here's what I mean. A lot of content creators will say, subscribe, like, comment, all in one swing right there. So what they're asking the viewer to do is 3 different actions at one time. I've found it more effective through my experimentation to ask one thing at one time. So if you are going to use calls to actions, just make sure that you don't go overboard so that you're not overwhelming the viewer with all these different things to do. Now let's talk about the end of your video. This is where content creators completely blow it. When you're writing your script, even if you might think intuitively that it would be helpful to recap or summarize this video and let everybody know these are the things that we talked about in this video and these are the things that you should do next and all of that, that will hurt your video performance. If you're already doing that, then you can go into your audience retention reports and you'll see people leaving your video when you start saying those types of things. So never recap your video, never summarize your video, and never use finalizing language. For example, a lot of people, when they're coming to the end of their video, they'll say things like, and that's how you XYZ, or that's why I think XYZ. If you put your calls to action at the end of your video, then people are going to know that your video is coming to an end. So when you're writing your script, here's what you want to do instead. Look through all the content in your channel, and you might even have it in your brain already in terms of the right video that you want to send them to. But if not, look through the content that you currently have and think with the video that you are currently writing the script for, what other content on my channel or single video would be a perfect fit for this viewer based on them clicking on this video and watching it all the way to the end. Once you find that video, you want to write into your script something that we call a handoff. The handoff is where you're handing off the viewer from one video to another. The best way to do this is when you get to the end of your script and you know that the video is finished, is to look at that video that you're going to be recommending and try to build it up in some way. Try to create some hype around it, try to create some importance based on the relevance of the viewer coming into that particular video and watching it to the end. If you want to see this in action, make sure you watch to the end of this video and I'll show you exactly what I mean. And hey, really quick, if you want to write scripts the easy way, TubeSpanner has a scripting tool to guide you along. It has different script structures based on the content you're making, and it even gives guidance on what you should do for each part of your script, as well as letting you know about how long it's going to take based on how fast you communicate to get through that particular part of your script. We even have smart content where if there are items that you use repetitively within your content, you can just go ahead and click on those and add them directly to your script. And if you don't want to be chained to your computer while you're recording your videos, you can even print your script if you would like. And that scripting tool is just one feature inside of TubeSpanner. It does a lot more. So if you're a YouTube content creator, I recommend you check it out. I'll put a link down in the description. But anyway, scripting a video is only helpful if you have some great ideas to write scripts about. So if you need help coming up with video ideas that your viewers will love, go ahead and click into this video right now. It's going to give you a lot of insights on how to come up with great video ideas. You can go ahead and click into it now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. See what I did there with the handoff, trying to get you to go click on it, but seriously, go ahead and click on it. Thanks for watching.